right, go on, Sydney. Sydney's out. Okay, here we go. Hey guys, welcome to my impromptu coding session. On this one, we're gonna work on iHog a bit to get that working. So yeah. Since it's still March, anything given to me on my Patreon through Buy Me a Coffee or by in-app purchases or purchasing apps from the App Store will go to behind the scenes charity to help the entertainment industry, as has happened before. So the first thing that we kind of need to cover is the fact that transition just to this. We don't really need the device right now. Is that Swift OSC, what I'm using right now, since I updated my Xcode, it does not actually work as it stands right now. So the first thing I need to do is figure out how to update a CocoaPod. So let's open a browser and figure that out. Oh. Actually, let me get to that GitHub specifically. Cool. Okay, so let's see here. We have, I need to go to find the Swift OSC. Cool. And it looks like it was updated February 1, so just making sure. Alright. So that looks pretty simple to do. Let's try it. Finder. I need to open a Finder window. And we're going to say, look for that pod. So that's going to be in my documents. Ignore a lot of this stuff. And not iHog. Actually in iOS. And then hog OSC. Pod file. And I like to open it with other. So if I'm not using Xcode, I really like to use VS Code to edit things. So that's what we're going to do here. Visual Studio Code, open. And let me drag that guy over here so we can see what's going on. So this is the one thing that's an issue since I'm using a third-party dependency in this app to do the OSC part, is that if I update my computer too soon, then unfortunately it might not work right off the bat. So like it is on 1.4, and if we look in here, it is 1.3. So we're going to go ahead and update that to be 1.4 so we can pull off the right one. I'm going to quit the Teams because y'all don't need to see if any notifications pop up there. We're going to save that, and then we need to actually update the pull and update. I've never had to do that before, so let's see, under the install guide. So that's actually installing Cocoa Pods. I need to... Oh, do I really just run pod update? Especially they often use pod update. Okay. Well, let's see what it says in the install guide. When you want to update pods to a new version, which is exactly what I want to do. So I need to open up terminal. We're gonna cd document /iOS. Let's make sure I'm gonna, cd, and then we're gonna change into Hog OSC, and then I should be a pod update. And let's pull it down. And it's going to take some time because it's Ruby. It always takes a little bit. And let's just make sure I did this correctly. No pod. Oh, because I need to actually change directory one more time into. So I was in the parent of Hog OSC, but that's not where I keep all the, the project files. So I keep all the project files, like Xcode, that kind of stuff, into another directory inside Hog OSC called Hog OSC. So now let's try it. That could also be why it was taking some time. Okay, so what did I do? I did something wrong here. Let's just discard my changes. Discard changes, and let's actually close Xcode now. Nope. Close Xcode. I discarded my changes, so it's back to normal. I'm gonna close, and let's try running a pod update. Cool, so now it's actually updating my pods. Hi to my viewer again. I'll type in the chat to welcome everyone. If you ever have any questions, feel free to always put it in the chat, and I check those occasionally, so I'll be able to answer whatever you're saying, whatever questions you have. Cool, it looks like my pod is complete. So let's try opening Xcode again. And it's opening. Yay. And it takes a lot of resources to do all this, so. All right. Great, and that should work, and let's build it just to make sure. And I don't want it to go to iPod 3, actually, so let's stop that. And let's do it on that guy. Why? Okay, so did I? So something still might not be right in here. Let's see. Swift OSC. Issues. That's February 28th. Sorry, I'm trying to see if it's been said before. So it's just real upset at me right now. Let's see if I build it. If I just try building without anything extra. Wait, so it was building, no problem. Now let's see if I can put it on. So now we're gonna, okay, so it ran and it's running. But it's not. We're gonna make that 2020.5. That way. Alright, so I changed the version of 2020.5 since this fix will be in the next version. Let's see how that goes now. Ah, good. It worked. Let me get this switched over so y'all can actually see what's going on here. Alright, so we can kind of see the device in the bottom left-hand corner here. So now we can get a little bit more into work. Just to mess this around, show exactly what we're fixing. So when not in nano mode, this looks like crap, according to me, because you can't actually see the buttons on the left-hand side here. And then even in nano mode, even not in nano mode, or even inside nano mode, it looks okay. And it even has a little bit of space, function keys. The text needs to be fixed for sure, but it's not too, it could be worse. It could be way worse than what it is, like it is in not nano mode. So what I need to do is work on the buttons. I think I don't want them to be too much smaller, but if they're not that much smaller, then unfortunately it won't work. So let's go change their size real quick. So their sizes all live inside in programmer, and they all live inside the, it's been a while since I've actually been in here, so I have to find the hardware button. Okay, so this is what we would call a medium size. Why don't I try? And then width should feed into, it doesn't feed into height. That's fine. So let's try that. Okay, so let's see if the width works. It's keeping still the height pretty large, but that's okay for right now. The height wasn't really much of the issue. Most of the issue was honestly the width, because it was causing it to go too far forward. Oops, let's push the camera the wrong way, my bad. There we go. Sorry, it takes a while to build still. Let's just go to the program view. Okay, so we're still in nano mode. I can't really see if anything changed, so we're going to change our programmer settings out of nano mode. And they're still huge, which is not what we want at all, like I said. So let's try going a little bit smaller. Let's take it all the way down to 20. And then I'm gonna put a check here at the beginning. Okay, and then I wanted to put a check in my content view to say so it's saying it's large no matter what if it has iPad, which doesn't actually have an iPad in there. Hold on. Extensions. And it does contain iPad, but does it, so even though it contains iPad, it's saying it is large, which means that when we go into the programming view, it sends it that, which means programmer all. So I'm trying to figure out why the button sizes don't look like they're changing now at this point. Oh, I got 2 viewers now. Hey guys. So we're trying to figure out why the buttons don't really look like they're changing sizes. And it's saying is large, goes to programmer large. Okay, so that's just doing the layout. So then that means I should still be able to go hardware button. Okay, so we check what the model name is, which is what it's giving from here. So if it's small, then we return that. Else, if it's medium, which it should say it's medium, then it should do that. Let's print it. Let's see what happens. I mean, let's run it again. All right, so we're loaded. Let's do programmer. Oh, okay, so the buttons changed, which is good. They went super duper small. I mean, we're not able to push any buttons, but at least they changed. So that's a good start here. So we know that they do change. So let's find a magic sauce spot. Let's just double their size real quick and go to 40. And 40. I really shouldn't be touching my face, so I'm sorry. That's just a bad habit. Yeah, still trying to break habits because of the wonderful world around us, which is awesome. I gotta figure out something else to do with my hands now. So let's go into... Okay, so again, it's getting better. 40's still a little small. And it's really hard to push. I definitely see if you're in a rush, you can push the wrong button super easily with that. Let's see, I can make this be a little bit bigger now since we kind of see what we're doing here. So let's just go to the iPad. Cool. And I'm going to go ahead and work on getting these a bit bigger. So we know 40 is too big. I mean, 40 is still too small, so let's change these 40s to 50s. Width, where's height? Okay, so let's see what happens. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's see. it's still, building was successful, which I mean, I know y'all can't see. Now we have, so let's hit the magic button here. Okay, so I mean, it's getting better. It's still a little bit, it's not cut off at all. The buttons are still a little small for what I'd like. I'm going to try to increment them now to 55 and see what happens. I'm just going to do the width for now because the height was fine like from the get-go. So let's see what happens with the width. Okay, here we go. The build has been succeeded. It's running, as we can see now. It opened up. So that width is definitely better. I mean, I'm silly if it made me. It was just upset. Let's go a little bit bigger and see what happens. And this time, we're going to go ahead and apply that to the height as well. Okay, so let's see. It's building, and it was successful. The build was successful, which is always good. I love seeing build success. And clicking here. All right, well, I mean, it looks like it's working. I don't know why it wasn't working like this before. Weird. Okay, let's see if we can do... I mean, I definitely don't have that much space over here on the right-hand side. Between the last encoder and the edge of the screen. And I don't have that much space on the left-hand side. So I'm going to say that the width is going to be fine now. So let's actually kill it running here on my iPad. And we're going to go and actually run it in a simulator for 10.5 and see how that works. I don't have a simulator for 10.5. Devices. I thought I had added one earlier, but I guess not. iPad Pro 10.5. Create. And now let's add it. And while that's building, we're gonna go and open Safari again, GitHub, and we're gonna mark it as working on in here now. It's still building. It's gonna take a little bit to build, so we can go ahead and work on marking some issues here. Need to check on the following. So my simulator still hasn't opened yet, so I know it's still building, it's still working. So we need to check on the iPad Pro 10.5 inch, the iPad, and then the iPads that are all 9.7 inch should also, and yeah, because then, so that means like the Air and all those standard size iPads should all be like this as well. So we're gonna go ahead and comment. So the build was successful, I just saw. So the simulator is working on turning on. Let's change the window. Not change device. We need to say I'm going to try to make it smaller so that we can actually see it all here. Cool. So now it's sideways. So now we're just going to wait for it to finish building. So if you have any questions or anything like that, please throw them in the chat. I'm happy to answer them, especially during this wonderful simulator load time. Yeah. If not, you know, that's okay. You... It's still loading. It just takes a really long time. Let's see. It's still going. Here we go. All right, it's at least loaded. So let's see how this goes, how this happens. The simulator's in light mode, which is why it has a light background instead of a dark background, whereas my other iPad did not. It was in dark mode. Usually the smaller iPad, the one that I'm using as like the actual device to test on, is what I use in bed because it's a lot smaller than my 12.9 inch that I also have. And sorry for all the noise right now. I am going to try to charge an iPad here while this is going. Okay, cool. And let's go into Programmer and see how this looks. Programmer, and it looks marvelous. It looks like it's going to work. I don't have a 10.5 to actually test it on normally. Whenever I updated Xcode, it gave us this awesome new interface around the simulator so that we can quickly do some things here, go home, rotate, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, let's see. And then there's also, I can not do that. If I bring it here, does it give me the option? Cool. So I took it to my external monitor here, and it actually let me make it physical size, like the physical size of an iPad Pro, which is way bigger than my 13-inch MacBook Pro screen, so which is why you can't see it here. But on my external monitor, it looks like the buttons are big enough. So we're going to call that done there. Let me get Safari back up. And we're going to check off that box. And then one more I want to check is the 9.7, and then we can push this to master and call it good. So there should be a normal iPad Air. That should be exactly what we want. I'm going to open Fork so that we can get that going. And then, yeah. So that I can actually commit this to my GitHub so that I can go back to it if I ever need to. It is safe somewhere, and if my computer were to for some reason die, it's all good. We have it somewhere else that is not on my computer. It's always good to have a backup somewhere that's not local on your computer. I choose GitHub mainly because that's what I started with college, and so that's what I kind of stuck with. I have also I played around with GitLab a little bit, and I actually started off with iOS development using GitLab. I don't know why I didn't stick with it exactly, because then I wouldn't have to have these two different repos. Oh, because GitHub has better integration in like articles and stuff. So like if I post, I sometimes write at dev.to, and so then sometimes it's a little bit easier over there to do that, to integrate the GitHub repo and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I like GitHub a little bit better. GitLab would be cool if it supported that a bit better, but it does not right now. So let's see. I do this all the damn time. Sorry. So I want iOS and I want... Nope, that's okay. There we go. Okay, so... Yep. So I fixed the extension, which is great. But let's just make sure that I'm doing... Great, that's fine. The width of the encoders looks good. This is now adjusting the width of, this is just saying, hey, am I going to be okay with that? Changing the current version to whatever the current version is. Great. 2020.4 going to 2020.5, changing that to 266. And updating to the latest version, which is still not really the latest version, because the latest version on GitHub was 1.3.1. I mean, it was 1.3.4. Okay, well, we're going to save it. We're going to stage everything in here. Should fix issue. You can do Wilson / iHog number. That is issue number 53. So what's really cool is if you do issue and then the GitHub username / the project number 53, when I commit these and then push that commit up, it's now going to associate these files that I'm working with and these changes that I'm working with this specific issue. And because my files for iHog are actually not open, so I don't open source the project, I just open source the issues. Since they're not open, it has this little lock here so that no one can actually see it unless you are part of that repo, which is actually one of the benefits of subscribing to my Patreon. But my 9.7 iPad simulator for my iPad Air just turned on, and it looks like it's working here, which is great. Something that I did not check, though, was the layout of the faders, which is great that I'm working on the other screen. The layout of the faders looks to be working correctly as well. It does not. It is not. I lied. It is not working at all. Let's see. No, it might have been a simulator issue. It is not a simulator issue. Let me double check this iPad Pro here real quick and see if this is a simulator issue. iHog. It works fine, not in the simulator. So it might be a simulator issue. One of the bad things about not having every device to test with that you want to support is that sometimes the simulator is a little bit buggy. I don't see why it would not work on the iPad Pro, but it would work on the iPad Air. So I'm going to call this done. Like I said, I don't have this iPad to test with. 9.7-inch error. Looked wonky in the simulator, but works on iPad Pro 9.7-inch device. Could this be a simulator issue? Okay, so, but I'm gonna call this close. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and close it because, like I said, I think it's fixed. It works on device. It might not work, like I said, on the simulator, but sometimes the simulator and the device are still a little bit out of sync. So that's closed. Have I started release notes? I don't know if I have. We're gonna open that. So I need to see if I've started release notes. I don't think I have. Okay, so let's open a folder. Okay, sorry, I'm still really bad about touching my face. Okay, what's bouncing? I know it is. Here we go. It's open. It's fine. I want not Hog OSC, but I want documents. Now we can go into dev, iHog. Open. And we're gonna go, release notes. So let's, new file. So this is going to be 2020-5.md. So part of this, so how I version my code, in case you're kind of new to what I do or new to watching me. So how I version my code is the fact that it's how many releases have I actually released in that year. So this would, in theory, be this will be my 5th release for 2020. Yeah. So let's actually split this real quick. I just like to make sure I have the same, format for everything. Features added. Ooh, but it does not help if I cannot type. Bug fixing. In this one, actually, I basically copy and paste this part. Whoops. Great. And then I just fix the issue number here and the title of it, because that's all it usually takes between here. What did I call that in Safari? I called it okay, so it's a bug. It doesn't have full layout. Great, so now I have them all done. So no user requested fix. No user reported bugs in v2020.4. Okay, so again, this is just so that the release notes are going to keep up to date with everything else also, so that I don't have to go towards all the end and find out. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and commit those changes as well. And we can push those here. Okay. Cool. Okay, so since those are fixed, the next thing we're going to do is actually work on getting this into master so that it's there and we're done. So how I like to branch my code, or what I'm working with branching my code right now, is I'm going to branch for each type of feature or each issue I'm actually working on. So this is done. So we're going to go into master and we're going to merge this issue into master. And it should be fine. Great, and we can push those. All right, so those got added. And then those should actually be done. Let's go into Safari real quick and make sure that looks right on GitHub. This is where I'm going. iHog. Nope, I actually wasn't going into iHog because it is a private repo. And here there should be hog OSC. And let's look here. Cool, so we actually merged the branch. No problem, issue 53 was fixed. Great, so that was committed, that was fixed. I don't. There isn't anything to compare, great. It's up to date, so let's just go ahead and get rid of that branch, it's not needed. Oh, let's, okay. Hold on. Okay, so we're just gonna also delete 2020-5. We don't need all these branches here because it'll just get confusing for me. Cool. Now we're gonna go into, those have been fixed. Let's go into fork. So that's the punch page feature, soft key feature, which I actually really want to do. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do though is not any of these. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that branch because we've already deleted it remote. Okay, so the punt page feature we will get to, I promise it'll get worked on. And same with the soft key, but I'm going to implement this actually super easy feature, or should be easy feature to implement. And that's going to be the bulk add feature that was that I actually got an email for to get added. There it is. Let me go into here. Yeah, so this request bulk add items, issue number 54. This should be really easy to do. Some guy has a bunch, so in theory what this feature will allow us to do is when it has a bunch of items to be able to be, there's a bunch of, so what this feature will allow us to do is say when we tap or long press on the plus inside the, so let me actually switch this over real quick and it'll be easy for me to show. So, yay. So, when I'm inside a show file, change show, cool. I can long press on one of the, on add group. And what that's going to do is when I press on it, it's going to, when I long press, it's going to bring up a context menu, kind of like this group 1 does to edit. But it's going to give us options to add in 10, 100, or custom. I might keep 1 in there just because if you accidentally long press on it, then it's a little bit easier to adjust. So yeah, but this should be a relatively easy feature to add, I'm hoping. Just because it doesn't seem that terribly hard to do. It was requested because if you have a large show file with hundreds of groups and hundreds of scenes and all that good stuff, then it's really hard to add those scenes and those groups individually. So because there's so many. And instead of having to pick and choose what groups you actually want to add, you can actually just say, great, let's just bulk add 100 at a time. And then if you have 400 groups, then adding 100 at a time takes 4 long presses rather than tapping 400 times on that one button itself. So let's go ahead and do that. Cool. So the first thing I need to do is actually get that fork done correctly. Bulk add items. Great. So now we're based off of here. Oh, well, it's too late now. Okay, so in here, like I said, so let's go ahead and close this now. Features added. Bulk add items. And we're going to put a GIF in the release notes because why not have some fun? But like I said, first things first is we have to actually make this happen. Release notes don't matter if there's no code to be released. So first thing we're going to do is go to the place where it happens. So let's see. So this is what happens when we initially add an item. We say new show.object. Okay, so we're also only going to work on this for like 15 minutes. If it's going to take longer than 15 minutes, it'll be another live stream. So at 4:45, I'm going to be done because I've already been going for about an hour. So another 15 minutes and then I'm going to be done. Okay. So that's just adding an item with group. So it should be relatively as simple. So let's go and open the other thing that I have where we can get that hardware. Where we can actually do that context menu so I can look at it, see what we're doing. I don't care about the clear all. It is the button. Yes. Okay, so right here. So this is where we're going to add a context menu. All right, so context menu. If you want to learn more about context menus, I actually just did a blog post about this. You can go to blog.appsbymw.com and it's going to be one of the top ones, how to add a context menu to a context menu. But we're going to go through it anyway. So once you put context menu in, then we want to say there's a button. And then inside the button, there's always an action. And we're going to say self.add 10 group objects. And it's going to have obj type of dot group. Print. Oh. And then in here, it's just going to say yep, and then the text is going to say text and 10 objects. Okay. Yes. Oh, I didn't do this correctly. Okay. And now it's upset because I can't add 10 objects. I don't have the function to add 10 objects. And we're just going to open this up side by side now together because then I can... Okay, so hi another viewer. Welcome. Just a heads up, I have about 15-ish minutes left, and then this will go to YouTube once I'm done. So no big deal if you feel like you missed everything. I'm just working on adding a context menu that allows me to add multiple buttons at the same time in Hog OSC, in iHog. It's groups, paths, large. There we go. And we're gonna bring this to go up here. Okay, so basically we can just say if obj type then we want to add item of 0 selected. So basically all we did here was great for, oh, what did I mess up? I did not do a for loop correctly. Nope. Here we go. Let's see how. Oh, what is it supposed to be? I hate for loops. For, let's see, Xcode catches up. For I guess, yeah, we'll just do for 0. That's also not right. I don't want to print the code. I want to go somewhere. Command-Shift-O is to go somewhere. And it is the edit object. Nope. Maybe? Colors. Color index for in self-talk. Button color picker, that's what I'm looking for, and Okay, so that's not doing what I want. Sorry that you have to watch me look up how to do a for loop in Swift 5. But let's go see how it goes. Because I really don't want to do for in for underscore. For underscore in 1 0 dot 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 power. Does that go to? Yes. So we'd actually just go for underscore in 1 dot 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 num. Okay, so how that works is we're using the underscore to actually ignore the initial value. And then we're going to go from 1 to whatever the number is here, which in our case we said is 10 for that first number. So then we can say, now we can say, and if obj type equals dot group, then we're going to say add item 0. And I forgot to put selected. Add selected, else add item selected 1. Because it don't really matter at that point. Okay, cool. So now then we can just go up here and we can do the magical copy and paste. And we're going to change that to 100. And then like I said, we're going to have one there just for 1 in case someone accidentally taps. And then let's build this guy. All right, let's see. All right, so now it's gonna build, it's gonna run. We'll see it down here in the bottom left. Actually, let's go ahead and just make that full screen. Because if it works, then we're done for this time. I will probably go off live stream and will actually add that in myself. It's still building in Xcode, so let's just wait. All right, we gotta launch a show. So we see those guys. We have this option. But no, it's not letting me select an option. Nope, it worked. It just did not go away. Delete. Okay, so we have 118 objects here. So, and then if I add 10, which I did hit add 10. Let's see, I should have 120, right, because I deleted 1, so there should be a repeat there. So it's working, it's just real slow. So with it being as slow as it is, that doesn't really do much. I mean, it's helpful, but it's not helpful at the same time. Like, hey, I get 10 buttons, but it's going to add a lot of time. Instead of, let's just do this. still has to decide. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. I bet we can speed this up still. Because it doesn't actually have to do this and determine each one. It should just be able to know outside of, because we don't need to check the group if obj equals dot. Yeah. Yeah, because again, there's no reason to check the object type every single time. So we can actually say if obj type equals dot group, then new obj dot type equal, well, just copy and paste this part. Then else palettes. What time is it? It's 4:43. Okay. Okay, so then else that works. ID name new. And then we're just gonna do because then it'll just add that whatever that new object is. The name can actually just be blank every single time too. So let's see if that speeds it up. Because now basically all we're doing inside this for loop is we are saying, give it a new UUID and then add the object. Give it a new UUID and then add the object. Let's actually launch a new show file. 10. It gave us 2. It gave us the number 8. So this is not working like I thought it would. Does that give us any errors? Nope, it is not. Okay, that's just layout constraints. Okay, so it's just going way too fast now. Awesome. But it only added 1. Why did it only add 1? So let's see if we just copy this. I'm just trying to speed it up a little bit, and then like I said, I'm probably going to call it done here though, after we try this one out. Yeah, that one. Nope, it still only added 1. It's just taking a tad bit too. I think it's just like overrunning itself. Show manager. Object. New show here. Okay, so it's actually adding a new object and then doing all this crap on top. So it's probably not able to run completely before it gets in there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and call this done for now then. This is going to take a little bit longer than I thought, so it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be because the runtime just isn't working. I had it before where it just was taking a super long time, which not okay in my book. It needs to be a bit faster, or else it's not as good as it needs to be. So let's go ahead and quit out of Xcode, which it looks like it's struggling to do. Quit out of Safari there as well. Going into changes. Not adding all the groups yet. Once we get it working with groups, it should be a fairly simple copy and paste after that. Cool. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it again. Just a little bit of things I want to say real quick. It is the second to last day. If any and all proceeds that you give me on Patreon, buy me a coffee, maybe you purchase an app, purchase an in-app purchase, or purchase an app, download an app, any and all of that is going to be donated to behind the scenes charity to help people in the entertainment industry. So people who run concerts, people who run Broadway, all that kind of stuff, anything behind the scenes of anything, any type of art, then that helps them at any point that they need, that they've been hurt either through sickness, illness, that kind of thing. So definitely during this time, it's really helpful. So yeah, please either support me or support behind the scenes charity directly. Either one be great. It'll be greatly appreciated, I'm sure. As of right now, I'm standing at about $30 raised for them. So then after that, yeah. So whatever I get by the end of tomorrow will be added to that. So thanks so much again. I really appreciate it. I will see y'all at 6:30 to actually work on notification instead. Again, thanks for watching.